Hi, everyone. Welcome to another Homeschool Live. I am Heather with the Old Schoolhouse, and I am here with Nadeem of CTC Math, and I am so excited. He has been working with CTC Math for several years now. He has three wonderful children, and he just has a passion for helping homeschoolers in everything that he does with CTC Math. And Nadeem, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks, Heather. I appreciate being here. This is new. I wasn't expecting the intro down. We've changed things up. This is a bit like what's going on here, but we're good. We're good.
We
I
made
got it.
it
I got
work.
it. That's
We're
fantastic.
here. So anybody that is watching right now, this in on the state side, we are starting school. I see the school buses going by. They started around here just yesterday. And there are definitely families who are just starting homeschooling. They decided not to send their kids back this year. And so share this video if you have any friends that are starting homeschooling this year, or they're not sure what to do about math. This is an incredible program for them to get started with. So share this video, like and comment, and Nadeem will answer your questions at the end of the video. So Nadeem, can you share with us a little bit about CTC Math?
Yeah, and what an exciting time it is back to school. There's a lot going on. I know it's busy. I know it's crazy, but it's also like that new hopes, new dreams for the upcoming school year, and that's always fantastic. And wishing everyone the best of luck and love and support. But CTC Math is an online math curriculum. It ranges from K to 12. We specialize in homeschool learning. It's created by a homeschooler for homeschoolers. Pat, the co-creator, the voice behind the program, has 10 children himself, 5 boys, 5 girls. So he really gets the day-to-day ins and outs of the homeschooler. So with a pretty basic overview, the students will log in, they'll watch a video tutorial. It's short, concise, to the point, easy to understand. And always say the main difference between CTC Math and one of the main differences at least between CTC Math and other math curricula is the video tutorials, and Pat can do that heavy lifting for you. It's important to find something that a student is engaged in, understands, so that gives them the aha moments.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And what I love about the video tutorials is, if a child doesn't understand something, first of all, they're short and concise, and they can go back and watch it again. It's not like they're sitting in a classroom setting or watching a full, lecture, just repeating the same thing over and over again, and the child gets confused, but just to the point and explains the concept. And then there's practical questions that can help them through it. And there's also additional help, which I think maybe we'll talk about later. But can you share with us specifically how CTC Math can help homeschooling families? I know it's been used around the world in many different venues and situations, but for homeschoolers, how can it help us?
Yeah, very much. There's a number of ways, and I just want to touch on something that you just brought up there, and that was basically learning at your own pace. Yeah, with those video tutorials. Now, that in a practical sense is done multiple ways. There's the video tutorials that they can stop and rewind in the privacy of their own home, and watch as many times as possible, as you suggested. But we also give access to all grade levels. So when a student logs in, they have access to from K to 12. They're not locked into a particular grade level. So they're able to go back, fill gaps, have a solid foundation of math, which is so very important. But at the same time, if they're doing really well, they can advance. We won't hold them up. If they finish their 5th grade work and it's only January, February, you don't have to purchase another year level. They can kick on. So that's super important. Always say that CTC Math gives you all the tools, and you pick and choose the tools that best suit your family. So whether it's task setting, the question bank wizard, the weekly revision, and just on the weekly revision, we've just launched we're just about to launch for the upcoming school year, 7th and 8th grade. So they now go up to 8th grade. The diagnostic tests, which can be used as a pre-test or a post-test. Even the adaptive questions, which are working in the background that the student doesn't really know what's happening, allows for the right question at the right time to be delivered. That's very handy. And there's other things like the create your own custom curriculum, the reports, the countless reports that you can call upon when needed, and the export data functionality, which is really helpful and really handy. The support, the 12-month money back guarantee. We have a whole list of things.
That's incredible. And I want to go back to what you said in the beginning, the creator of CTC Method, he was a homeschooler himself, and he gets homeschoolers, like you said, and I can see that as my children use CTC Math. I think sometimes parents, maybe they're brand new to homeschooling, and so they want to get the textbook and have everything the way they remember it, so they know that their child gets everything. But when you try to bring the classroom setting into the homeschooling world, it doesn't always work. Most of the time, it doesn't work. I usually tell people, if you have one child, maybe it could work, but as soon as you add 2 or 3 or 4, it looks completely different. And CTC Math helps with that. And the creator, he has 8 kids, so
10.
he understands. 10. Oh wow. Okay, so
10.
he understands that for the
Evenly
homeschooling.
distributed as well. 5 boys, 5 girls.
Wow. I love it. It's so cool. And so I just love that, when you enter the world of homeschooling, you really don't know what you're getting yourself into. And you sometimes try to recreate, like I said, recreate the classroom, but this doesn't do that. And sometimes people are nervous when they see those small lessons, but that's all your child often needs. And it's so freeing to be able to use those small lessons, but your child is able to learn the content. And so I just want to encourage those watching who might be brand new to homeschooling to give it a try, even though it might look different than what you're used to, because it has worked so successfully for my students, especially those who are self-motivated. The younger ones, I would just kind of help them along, and then they would get it. But the older ones, they just jump right in there. So I am excited about your, was it 7th and 8th grade weekly revisions? Because parents are scared at that age, right? They're scared once the math levels get higher. They say, oh, I can do elementary, but middle school, no. So this is great that you're offering that for the older ones.
Yeah, and on the bite-sized lessons, whether you're using CTC Math or not, there's a reason why we do this, and this is very, very important to consider. At least if you have a 45-minute math lesson, it's far better giving them a 5-minute explanation and then giving them 40 minutes to practice the math problems than a 20, 25, 30-minute explanation, and leaving only, 20 or 15 minutes for practice. A lot of the learning is actually done in the application. And often we think the more we say to our kids, especially in an area of math, the more they'll get it. It's actually the opposite. We overcomplicate it. They lose interest. They become disengaged. And we follow a mastery method in terms of lesson deliverables. Each lesson focuses on a particular topic. We master that topic. The interactive questions are directly related to that topic, that lesson that was just taught. But also we incorporate spiral revision because that is important. We don't want the students to forget key concepts. And that's via the weekly revisions, the diagnostic tests, and the question bank wizard. So that idea of incorporating having a mastery approach to your day-to-day teaching, but also incorporating spiral revision perhaps once a week.
Yeah, that's really good. And it gives the student confidence. And one of the aspects I love about CTC Math is that you have certificates when a child reaches a certain benchmark. And there's just so much. I mean, there's so many things that really encourage the child, just even little stars that pop up when they get, a certain amount right. And I mean, it just definitely a lot of thought has gone into it, and it definitely is geared towards the student, but also helps the parents in an incredible way. So can you describe what you see as one of the biggest challenges right now in mathematics that you think students face?
Students, I think confidence issues. I mean, once they think they're no good at math, um, they lose that confidence and they just have this mentality stuck that they're no good at it, they don't understand it, it's too difficult, and it spirals. Because math is a foundation and you need a solid foundation in order to build up, the gaps are there. They get taught the next concept, they don't get it, they don't retain it, they lose confidence, interest, and then it goes on and so on and on and on. And eventually it comes crumbling all down. So confidence is a real issue. And often students don't have the capacity to realize that they don't understand the concept that's being delivered right now because they weren't taught or didn't understand a previous concept that was required. The students are unable to make that connection. It's very hard to make that connection, really.
Right.
So that's why it's important to ensure that there's no gaps. Hence why we give access to all lessons from all grade levels, so you can go back and fill those gaps. We've also got some diagnostic tools that help identify those gaps. And you see it in students. So with the adaptive questions, you don't want to throw them in the deep end. You don't want to give them a hard question straight away. You want to build them up. You want to build them up an inclined plane, step by step, one step by one step. And the adaptive questions are one of many ways we do that.
Yeah, that's really good for the student, that they are overwhelmed with all these super hard questions. I know my kids will just completely shut down. They'll turn off. And, if they have that confidence built because they got one right, then they can take those steps that you're talking about. And it's really good. So I'd love it if you could talk to the parents right now. A lot of parents are nervous about teaching math.
Mhm.
If there's any advice you can give to the parents, what would that be?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of pieces of advice. I mean, math is a difficult subject to teach, and it's very hard to learn math from a textbook. The key in teaching math is in the explanation. And as math gets more difficult or higher grade levels, becomes more difficult to understand and by nature more difficult to teach. And always say, let someone do the heavy lifting for you. This is the beauty of the homeschooling world. You have so many amazing resources at your fingertips. So many brilliant programs have been developed in the homeschool space, which schools should take more notice of, really. And let Pat or someone else, if it's not CTC Math, it could be someone else or some other program, do the heavy lifting for you. But I'll also say perseverance. There's going to be difficult moments. I'm not just talking about math now. I'm talking about homeschooling in general. It's going to be difficult moments. There's going to be frustrating moments, possibly moments where you question things, and I'll say perseverance, because there's something very admirable in putting up your hand and saying, I want to be the primary educator of my child. There's something very special about that, and also very important, very important. So there's lots of other support out there as well. Lots of other support networks, lots of great Facebook groups and community groups to tap into and reach and be a part of. Not just for the kids, but for the parents as well. And I would encourage you. On that, we have a CTC Math Parents group. So if you are a CTC Math member and you haven't joined our group, please do. It's great. It's very lively. Some great conversations going on in there.
Is that on Facebook?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Just CTC Math Parents group.
All right. Awesome. That is so wonderful. And that's definitely what parents are looking for. Sometimes we feel so alone, and it's so good to connect with other homeschool moms that are going through the same exact thing, and dads. So it's really good. I I've been using CTC Math for a few years and I love seeing new features coming out. And my kids will hop on and they'll say, oh, look at this is new. This is different. Do you have anything else in the works? Any new features coming up for this school year?
Yep, we do have it. And yes, every year we look to release some piece of functionality based on parent feedback. So we're always listening, we're always developing, we're always helping the program to grow and become better and better. And this year, it's the ability to set what we have. I should also add, we've got the weekly revisions, 7th and 8th grade being released, which I mentioned earlier. But the big functionality that's coming out this year is the course planner. Now, this allows you in CTC Math, you're able to set tasks. You're able to go in. But with the course planner, you're able to go in with a few clicks of a button and set an entire year's worth of work. It's great. You can select a custom date range. You can exclude holidays. You can pick the days that you want the tasks to appear. And it takes all the tasks, divvies them up. It asks you if you want to include some diagnostic tests, some weekly revisions, gives you a bit of a plan of what it's going to look like. And then you hit save and bang, it's all there. And then you can go in. Basically, I don't want to get caught up in too many of the details, but it takes it, it does it in such a way that all the tasks are divvied up weekly. And you can go in and make edits as the year throughout the year if necessary, if needed. But it's super easy and is a great way to plan the year ahead in a couple of minutes.
You are speaking homeschooling mom's language right now. I mean, so many of us love to, plan the year ahead, but of course, life gets in the way. So to be able to go in there and change it weekly would be incredible.
Well, two things there. Pat being a homeschooler, he gets it, but also we listen to feedback. So I don't know if this was based on Pat's suggestion or whether it was feedback that we had received, but certainly all our functionality falls under one of those two things. We don't just magically pluck things out of the air or go to university think tank groups and ask them, hey, what should we do? And pay all these graduates who have never taught math but spent years and years studying theory to tell us how to best deliver our lessons and so on and so forth, and what's the latest craze and so on and so forth. The traditional methods of what have tested have lasted the test of time, and there's a lot of information in experience, and we have a great community to tap into. We have a great knowledge base to ask. We don't have to go too far and essentially ask the inexperienced. It's crazy because education is really moving in this way with so much venture capitalist money and so many startups who are just being thrown so much money, and then so many think tank projects and researchers that absolutely have no idea, and I'm uncomfortable saying this, have absolutely no idea what they are talking about. They just think they do because they've read these textbooks.
Yeah. I mean, I see it here too in the States, and I completely understand what you're saying.
It's a global phenomenon. It's
for sure. Yeah. And so the fact that you are asking homeschoolers, what they need, and, it shows that you genuinely care about their needs. And, a lot of times, when it comes to planning, it gets frustrating because you're so excited about planning out your whole year and then it doesn't go as planned. And so the ability to be able to change it up, but also to have the, the comfort of knowing that you have everything laid out for you, just to kind of let everything go with the flow. That is just so another way that you've lifted the heavy burden off of the parent. So I think that's so wonderful. So I absolutely love CTC Math. I love everything you guys are doing for homeschoolers. Before we sign off, is there anything else actually, we have a question from Tanika. Can you walk me through how you test a child grade level to see if there are any gaps. Could you touch
Yeah.
on that, Nadine?
Yeah, great question. I will say, if you don't catch any of this, when you log into the parents area, there's a button in the top right-hand corner labeled Need Help. So if you click on that and then click on the placement test video, there's a great description of what to do and how to do it, and the video will walk you through it and show you it, but I will explain it as well. So we have diagnostic tests for each and every topic. There's about 15 topics in a grade level. So say your child's in 5th grade and you want to go back and fill some gaps and make sure that there's a solid foundation there, we'd suggest starting at 4th grade. And then you'd complete the diagnostic test. A report is produced. And then based on the report, you'll be able to identify lessons that need to be covered. And you'll click on those lessons, watch the video tutorials, attempt the questions, get a solid understanding, then move on to the next topic, do the diagnostic test. Now, if you find that 4th grade, there's lots and lots of gaps, you might want to take it back to 3rd grade. If you see that the student's going really, really well and that there's not too many lessons there that need help with, then you might just start on the grade level. Okay. But if there are 1 or 2 lessons per topic, then we suggest going through the entire method. It takes a little bit longer, but it is foolproof. And the students, and you're diagnosing plus learning. So it's not just testing. You're breaking it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And you're doing some learning as you go. And as I said, once you finish that process, there's a solid foundation. You just work through the curriculum order of the lessons, and then you can use the diagnostic tests as a post-test, as a test to retain information, as a way of incorporating that spiral revision.
Make sure they understand the content that they've learned. Yeah, that's
Correct.
really good.
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, I love the fact that you give access to all the levels. I mean, that is just so refreshing for homeschool families, and
it's a no-brainer for us, and we've been doing it since day one. If you are genuinely interested in helping children improve in the area of mathematics, then you know how important it is for the children to have a solid foundation. Now, if you are going to charge people to get that to get that solid foundation, then I don't know. We don't think that that's very appropriate.
Well, thank you so much, Nadim. I appreciate everything that you've shared. I know so many parents are so excited about this new school year coming up, and we love to have all of our lists of all the curriculum we're using, and I hope many of you watching have included or will include CTC Math on that list, and that you will incorporate this in your homeschool. It has been a blessing for my family with 5 kids. It is just so wonderful, especially with those higher level courses, for sure. So I'm just so thankful for everything CTC Math is doing. And Nadim, do you have any final words for the homeschooling moms just getting started this year?
Well, good luck. We're always here to help, whether you're using CTC Math or not. If you have any questions, specifically math related, or need any help, please reach out. It's info@ctcmath.com. And I reiterate, whether you're using CTC Math or not, if you need some help, we're here.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And thank you for tuning in for another Homeschool Live. If you are looking for more subjects, you can head over to schoolhouseteachers.com and get a membership over there. And if you do before August 31st, then you will receive a free tote bag of your choice. So head over to schoolhouseteachers.com, and we'll see you next time for another Homeschool Live. Bye.